Buddy, Ethan here. I'm not kidding when I say I had to wait 2 minutes, probably around a minute or two to make this video, because there was a helicopter going across and ambulance going there. If I would have made it while all that was going on, you wouldn't even be able to hear me. Anyway, I want to talk about something that it's so obvious that we just can't ignore it no more. I'm going to be kind of stepping away from the whole controlling your anger and all that. I'm going to step away from that for a little bit and make a few videos about stuff like this, about how much is going on in the world and how the timing is too perfect. Really think about it. Remember all the stuff that was going on about the hantavirus, I think is what it's called? That was about a month ago. Only 1 month ago. Everyone was talking about how everyone's gonna die from the hantavirus and how it's gonna be like another pandemic like the COVID-19 back in 2020. That was a month ago. And I haven't heard anything since. You heard all of these people talking about it and how we need to get ready for another, it's another COVID. Now it's gone. That was 1 month ago. 1 month ago. And now it's gone. Now, you don't hear anyone talking about it. It just seemed to just disappear out of thin air. It was like 1 second. Within the blink of an eye, it just disappeared. We went from people talking about how we need to evacuate, and now we're fine again. Everything's back to normal. It just seems too obvious. But it feels like since mid 2025, the world has just been so wow. And I don't mean that in a literal way. I'm not talking about like noise pollution. As you can tell, there's a lot of noise pollution here. Like I said, I had to wait like 2 minutes because there was helicopters, ambulances, and you wouldn't have been able to hear me. But I'm talking about how there's so much going on in the world right now, and it's such perfect timing. As you know, about mid 2025 is when the files, I'm not gonna say what kind of files, but you know what I'm talking about, those files were released. That was mid 2025 when that happened. And not long after after America started to release those files, is the same time we started going to war with Iran, and hantavirus came in, and all these things. Like, we started hearing about all these things, and I know, and this is kind of what the title of the video is, like, it can't stay hidden anymore. Like, it's just so obvious that, like, you can't even ignore it anymore. Like, you can't. It's like, basically, we need to talk about the elephant in the room, like, literally. Because at the same time as these files getting released is the same time that we're going to war with Iran, and there's a new COVID-19, and how people are dying from it. It's too perfect. It's not by accident, too. It is way too perfect. And there's no way you can look at it and think it's an accident. Because it's not. It's not. The fact that they are so perfectly, like, just parallel. The moment the files get released is the moment all these things start happening. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to use that to hide it. You know, but they're trying to make noise. They're trying to make more noise than the noise that's happening from the files. You know, you could kind of imagine it, and this is an actual, like, I don't know what you call it, like a science theory, but let me tell you how it works. Imagine you're in an argument. You're in a big room and you're in an argument with someone, an argument with multiple people. And while you're in the middle of that argument, while like super heated argument, you it's gonna sound kind of funny, but you throw a dead cat on the table. Like you just take a dead cat, just throw it on the table. Now everyone starts thinking, they're like, oh my gosh, like why is there a dead cat on the table? They start asking all these questions. They're like, I'm a little concerned. Like, is this guy okay? Like, he just put a dead cat on the table. Like, this is really concerning. And they completely forget about what the argument was about. Like, completely. They don't remember that they were arguing. That just completely goes away. And that's what they are doing. And I say they because I'm talking about these rich, upper people. And because that's what they're doing. They're trying to make more noise so that way then instead of focusing on these things that are being released, you're focusing on the war and the hantavirus and all these things that are going on to make you ignore the actual big thing that's happening, make you ignore the stuff that you need to focus on. I wouldn't say need, but just the things that are actually concerning. And that's another thing, is like a lot of times what they do is not only do they do that, but they'll just completely just use lies and they'll fake it. I used to watch a YouTube channel on YouTube back a few years ago. I used to watch a YouTube channel with this guy. He would like talk about things that are going on, and he would talk about how there's a meteor coming and we should be ready and this might be the end. I used to always have this constant fear, I was always scared thinking we're gonna die because this is gonna happen. It would be like I'll give you an example. We'll say on October 24th, there's gonna be a meteor coming and we're all gonna be gone. And I would be super scared, and then October 24th would come, the day that's supposed to happen, and nothing would happen. Absolutely nothing. And then October 25th, the 26th, the 27th, the 28th, and then a month goes by, nothing happens. Because they do it to scare you. And this is not just, the government and all that. It's also the news. The news is a big part of it. And this is why me and my family, we don't watch the news. Because we know that 90% of it is fake. And they do it to distract you and to scare you. Because if you could imagine, if you're in an argument with someone and fireworks start going off, the argument is completely gone. Now you're going to start focusing on those fireworks going on over there. The argument doesn't matter anymore. You're trying to figure out why there's fireworks going off over there. And also because you're going to be distracted looking at them. That's what they're doing. They're trying to make something bigger than the problem. So that way then you can start asking questions about that instead of asking questions about what's actually going on in the world. Because if you look into those files, it truly is disgusting what they did. But they don't want you to focus on that. They want you to focus on their problems, the problems that they think are problems, when in reality, they don't even exist. A lot of those things, there's a fly on my phone. There's flies everywhere. We have a fly bucket right here to catch flies. We have, here in Texas, we have a fly infestation. It's insane. You walk through the grass and just millions of flies come up. Anyway, back to another fly. Back to what I was talking about. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to make you focus on what they think is a problem. Because they just make something up. They say, hey, this is a problem. You need to focus on this and spend your entire day warning about this. When in reality, it doesn't even exist. Most of the things that you're scared about in the world, and I'm not talking about things that you're actually scared of, like bears, heights. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about being scared of what's going on in the world, a lot of it isn't real. You know, you're scared of, let's just say, you're scared of the war going on. That war ended a while ago. Right as things started to we got into war, right as the war got heated, suddenly, it's off. The war's gone, we're not in war anymore. We were so scared about that war happening, only to realize that a month later, it doesn't even exist anymore. We're not in war anymore with Iran, and it's all gone. It's just disappeared out of thin air. Because the moment people start to bat an eye on it, they realize, they're like, okay, now that enough people are distracted on this thing that isn't an actual problem, now we can drop that, and then now we can try and hide the actual problem. And that's what they're doing. So, moral of the story, do your research. Like, when you hear about all these things happening, do your research. Because, and just know, honestly, before you even do research, just know that with everything that's going on in the world right now, a lot of it might not even be real. And this is why, like I said in the beginning, we don't watch the news. Because we know a lot of it is fake. We know when they say this is going to happen and this many people are going to die, and then nothing happens. We'll be standing in that exact spot, that exact day, and nothing happens. Absolutely nothing. Y'all have a good day.